Yeah.
Can just
So what I was
continue.
saying, yeah. So what I come from a different household. We,
Mm,
um, I have my parents divorced when we were still very young. So I come from a single mother household.
mm,
And like I said, she wasn't a stay-at-home mom for most of the time.
mm,
And she wasn't there. She was working most of the time. When she come back home, she's tired, and there wasn't really time to spend with us. And I think that was kind of the norm, or at least most of my friends had the same thing. For the most part, we were on our own.
mm,
So we did our homework by ourselves. We even like sporting events and everything that, at events at school and all that. Like, our parents couldn't make it. Like, most of us, like, it wasn't a usual thing to have parents like at the
mm,
events and whatever. So we really grew up by ourselves and, independently, and like our parents weren't there the majority of the time. They tried their best, and like I said, my mom was a single mom.
mm,
She tried her best. But I had a different idea of the kind of mother I wanted to be.
mm,
And that only started after I had my kids. I never thought about like the type of mom I want to be, how I want to raise my child, the values. I never even like question like, you just go through life and you having fun and all that. You don't sit down and have like serious questions with yourself. I felt that only happened once I had kids. That's when I really grew up. And that's when I would
mm,
have like sit down with myself and like, what is the type of mom you want to be? And how do you want to raise your child, your kids? What do you want to teach them? How do you want them to move through life? And
mm,
those are the questions I started asking myself. And then I had to ask myself, okay, what does it mean for you? Like, how I had to obviously work on myself and change myself and think about, okay, what exactly is my values, and what do I really believe in? What are the things
mm,
that I just took on because I saw my mom do it, or the other ladies in the
mm,
community and whatever. And what are things that really resonated with me and that I really wanted to stick with me. Um, so I had to sit and have like that kind of conversation with myself. Um, and then I would now develop, okay, this is the type of mother I want to be, right? But then that also comes with challenges, because now, like, okay, how do I start? How do I get there?
mm,
And then also again, I obviously would go on motherhood forums and do the research and all that stuff. And I think that's also where the whole perfection thing also took root. Like, oh, you have to be the perfect mother, and this is how the perfect mother looks like. And like I
mm,
said, and that's why motherhood is really a journey. You start off at a certain point, and as the journey continues, you change and you evolve and you rethink things. And it's like, okay, no, I need to fine tune there. No, I need to change that. Okay, that's not working. Um, oh, I need to give myself some grace. I shouldn't be so hard
mm.
on myself. I shouldn't be so judgmental. And then, like slowly it changes. And I don't think it ever stops. Um, I had to work on myself about not being controlling,
Mm,
because I don't think we realize that is what we are. Like, you know, you want your kids to be a certain way. So now you're
yeah.
trying to mold them in that way. The way you think, oh, I want them to grow up to be like this or that and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had to discover, okay, that is a little bit controlling because now you want to basically direct their destiny, and I had to let go of that. It's hard to do, but you have to let go of that because they have their own journeys also, and they have their own purpose, their own destiny that God set out for them, and it's not your job to get in the way of that. Um, and I'm a Christian, so I do believe that He sets out the path. And that's why I need to be connected to Him because He'll tell me and He'll guide me in His will and not my will and what I think my kids should turn out to be or what they should turn out to be. So yes, it's a journey, and with that comes freedom. And although yes, you have to work through it and you have to work all the time and pray all the time, but like that comes with freedom, knowing that it's not your job to decide the direction your children are gonna go. Your job is to pray for them and to raise them in the ways of the Lord, and that type of thing. Um, and let go. Because as a mother, my mother-in-law always says, a mother it's the only job that, or motherhood is the only job you work yourself out of a job, basically. You work yourself out of because you have to let go. You have to eventually let them go into the world and find their own path. Yeah, so it's not our job to be controlling, and and that I think that's been a hard one for me, to stop wanting to be in control. Yeah.
I agree with what you mentioned. I love the fact that you connected your upbringing to certain characteristics that have that you've developed, like perfectionism, like being controlling, because we don't really acknowledge or actually have an honest conversation with ourselves to say, you know what, these are the characteristics that I hold, and they might not be working for me and working for the people around me. And it takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of introspection and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
honest conversations with yourself to get to the point where
Mm-hmm.
you're telling yourself that, you know what, I am a bit of a perfectionist, and it's not helping me grow in any way. It's not helping my kids grow or my husband grow, or the people that are in my life. So I need to
Mm-hmm.
make some changes in order for there to be positive growth and controlling.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women um, have characteristics such as perfectionism, being controlling. I know I'm one of them. And I think it's also because of the way we are molded as women, how we
Mm-hmm.
need to be.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be a certain type
Yes.
of way. We need to be a certain type of mother. Everything must be perfect. Even in terms of,
Mm-hmm.
of being controlling and perfectionism are tied, because you need to have
Mm-hmm.
things in order for them to be
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you intentionally tying away, or not tying away, you intentionally
Mhm.
distancing yourself from that.
Yeah. Mm.
Because that shows a lot of introspection. And I think not only women, not only mothers, but people in general need to
Mm.
do a lot of introspection. And it's not a once off thing. Just like how motherhood is a
Mm-mm.
journey, healing is a journey, so is
Mm.
introspection. It's something that we need to continuously do. And also because
Mm.
our kids are looking at us and learning from us, when they see the change in us, and they can see, oh no,
Yeah.
mom is a bit different. We are teaching them introspection, and we are teaching them that we are not perfect. They are not perfect.
Mm,
And life is an ongoing journey of learning, of healing, of falling, of, learning all
mm,
the lessons in life. And that nothing is perfect.
mm,
Um, so I love that you mentioned that, and even regarding upbringing, the importance of, um, upbringing, your own upbringing. That's something that you cannot control. Our parents didn't have it all. We don't have it all. We are all
mhm,
human. And
mm.
we need to give our parents grace. We need to give ourselves
Yep.
grace.
Mm,
And I think when a person becomes a parent, that's when you realize that, you know what, maybe I judged a bit too hard,
yep. Yep.
because now I'm in it. And,
Yep.
I'm not so perfect as I thought I would be.
Mhm.
Um, and the aim
Yeah.
should always be, as you said, you always wanted to do things different because you felt like, there is room to do different. Hence, you became a
Mm,
stay at home mom. So the aim should always be to do better. Not to say that,
mm.
your parents were bad people, but to do
Uh-huh.
better than them. And your kids should do better than you, and so on and so forth.
Mm,
Um, because that's, generational healing, generational wisdom,
mm,
breaking
mm,
generational curses. That's part of the journey.
mm,
So I loved everything that you mentioned, and how you tied things together, because it shows a lot of introspection on your part,
mm,
and how you are actually being very intentional. I think we need to do more of that. Not just speak
mm.
about it, but also do the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So
hard
I
work.
I
And
yes,
and
it's it's very sorry.
yeah, because it involves our kids, and things of the heart, they always hard to do. Like when you
Mm,
have to look at yourself in the mirror, and it's a hard thing to do, but the payoff is the best
yes,
once you see the
yes.
fruit of it. And I always say I don't want my kids to grow up a nervous wreck, because I'm always shouting, and they feel they can't do anything right. They're always doing things
Mm,
wrong and whatever. So that is something I have to continuously work on myself. Um,
mm,
because you also want to cultivate a peaceful home for them,
mm,
a safe space for them. It's not about
mm,
the materialistic things, or the
mm.
material things, and buying toys for them and all that. Like,
Mm.
um, the
Okay.
most important thing is our presence, and a
Yes.
peaceful home for them. A peaceful
Mm,
home and a safe space. And they get excited when we get back home. Mom's gonna be there, and they get excited to get home. It mustn't be like, oh, they dread going home. And
mm,
that's what I want. It must always be a
mm,
safe space. And even when they've grown up and whatever, they must know, like, when I go home, um, because the world is a harsh place for them, they must always know, like, going home, that's my place of peace, and my safe place. So that
mm,
is like really, really important to me. And that's why
mm,
I would sacrifice myself. I'll sacrifice my ego and all that. I don't mind. I'd rather do that. You know?
mm.
So yes, it's a hard thing to do, but we have to, for the sake of our kids and their well-being.
Yes, yes, because we did bring them into this world.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's very true. Um, purpose. Um,
Hmm.
it's our duty to help our kids fulfill their
Hmm.
purpose.
Yeah.
Um, and mold them and guide them, but not choose for them. Um,
Yes.
and how we help them fulfill their purpose is also through us fulfilling our purpose and showing them that it is
Yeah.
possible.
Mm.
Through
Mm.
alignment, aligning ourselves correctly,
Mm.
And you touched on that a bit where you said, you chose to be a stay-at-home mom. Not everyone has that
Mm,
option, but you chose to be a stay-at-home mom. You chose to leave corporate to fulfill your purpose. Um,
mm,
and indirectly also teaching them that, I have choice. And lucky for them, they still,
mm,
quite young. So they have a
mm,
lot of room in terms of, what to choose from. So
mm.
that is just fantastic that you are intentionally trying to fulfill your purpose. Um,
Yeah.
and you also displaying that it's just because you passed your 20s and your 30s and you think, oh my gosh, now I must just settle wherever I am. No, that's
Mm,
not the case. You can
mm.
always fulfill your purpose at any age. Not to say you
Yeah.
must wait, but when you can, make the steps, even if it's small little steps every day, but be intentional about fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah. And um, just getting back to that, that is what I'm trying to show them. Yes, I'm not just a mother. I'm trying to show them we are multi-dimensional beings. We can do different things. It's not just being a mother. And that's another thing I had to push myself into. I had to show them, oh, you can start like a business also, and you can, you know, just be an example for them. Oh, and I've started like a course now, like a makeup artistry course, just want to do like makeup artistry, and I can work. They need to see, oh, mommy can also work and mommy can also make
Mm,
money, because that's what I'm trying. I want to show them you can't just, it's not, you don't just have to be a mom, right? You
mm,
can be a businesswoman and you can make your own money. And because they've never seen me going to work, because ever since they were, um, the one was 6 months maybe and the other one was a year. So they don't
mm,
remember me going to work. So that they don't know how it is for me to work. But they've seen me start businesses and they need to see that part also, you know. Um, because I also teach them you don't also, if you don't want to be a mom, you don't have to be a mom.
mm,
There's a lot of people that don't have kids and they're fulfilled. We were
mm,
taught, oh no, you must have kids to be fulfilled. But that's not true. Everyone's
mm,
destiny is not one path. Everyone doesn't just follow one path in life. We have
mm,
different desires. You find women that don't want to be stay-at-home moms. They want to work, and I mean that
mm,
is their choice. And we've been giving like we've been given the um opportunity to choose. And everyone must choose whatever it is, as long as it is a choice that is that you've honestly made for yourself and it is not put on you or determined by society and all that. And then that's the right choice for you. So, like I
mm,
say, not everyone wants to be with their kids all day and be a stay-at-home mom. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And then
mm,
some people want to be stay-at-home moms, or some people want to have their own businesses and whatever. There's absolutely no right or wrong. It's
mm,
whatever suits you, whatever's right for you, whatever's right for your life, whatever's right for your family. Um, because I find mothers can also be very judgmental to one another,
mm.
and like, oh, you don't spend enough time with your child because you're always working and you're building a career,
Yeah.
and your career is more important than your child. And oh, you losing yourself, you lost yourself because you've given yourself up, you sacrifice yourself for your kids, and you don't know how it is to invest in yourself. And
Mm,
we judge one another
mm,
instead of trying to understand, and that's that person's choice. And just like give each
mm,
other grace and understanding. that's the choice that person made. Like everything is not about your opinions and how you see life.
Mm,
So yeah, I think like sometimes we can become a little judgmental towards one another. Um, at the end of the day, as long as your kids aren't neglected, like everything is okay,
mm,
you know?
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, that is true. As long as your kids are not neglected and everything is.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up because of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in closing, I'd like you to just speak about something that you would like to pass down to your kids or you would like them to remember you by.
Mm. I I I teach them, I always teach them how to be kind human beings, but I
Mm,
especially teach them to be kind to themselves because I think we always miss that part. It's all, oh, you have to be kind and you have to be kind to people and yes, you have to be kind to people, but what about yourself? Because we
mm,
always, in like so many women, you'll always hear, oh, you must give grace to yourself and and be don't be so judgmental, but we are, when it comes to ourselves, we don't give ourselves grace and we judge ourselves and
mm,
whatever. And that's something I don't want for them. I don't want it to be um where they can be kind to someone else but they don't know how to be kind to themselves. So
yeah.
I do that. I want them to know they have options, they have choices. They can use their voice. They must speak up. Um, I raise them to be strong, especially in South Africa. Being a woman in South Africa, a child in South Africa, you have to be strong. That you just have to. You can't be
Mm,
raising little princesses over here. And I mean the world in general. And
mm,
I teach them to be strong. And
mm,
um, like one of my daughters are very like one of my daughters is very sensitive, and like when she started school she would be now the one that be bullied and whatever, and then she came home a few times, and few times I would now obviously raise it with the teacher and whatever. And then after that I
mm,
told her, mommy can't every time fight, mommy can't fight for you all the time, you're gonna have to stand up to
mm,
this boy, because if he sees that mommy keeps coming to fight for you and you're not saying anything, he's always going to target you. And if
yeah.
other bullies are also going to see, okay, we can target her because she's scared and she's timid and all that. So I had to teach her, and she sorted it out herself. So I also want to
Mm,
teach them, or I teach them, I trust you. You are capable. You can do it. Confidence is
mm,
important. Yes, that I want them to be strong women, but I want them also to know how to be like soft, to be more softer. Because I think
mm,
that is not something we were taught by,
mm,
or most of us, by our parents, to be your soft era, like everyone, like
mm,
I'm in my soft era and whatever. We were never taught like the soft part of you. Yes, you must be
mm,
strong and you must know how to handle yourself out there in the world and whatever, but there's also a softness that you have to tap into, the
mm,
soft side of, and that is something I'm also working on myself, where I want to be more like, tap into that side of me. And
mm,
it's okay to cry and it's okay to be vulnerable and to show your
mm,
soft side. Um,
mm,
you don't have to always be strong. You get
mm,
tired because we were always just taught you must be strong, you must be strong, you must be strong all the time. You really
mm,
get tired of it. It's important um, to break down now and then. And I think that is something I find difficult to do. Just to say like, I'm tired. I'm done. Um, you always feel, or like most of us women feel, we have to be strong for everyone. And we have to
Mm,
always, be on our post all the time for everyone and whatever. And we have to learn
mm,
how to just, reset. I'm trying to do that like more often, um, especially when you're in the house all the time with your kids and everything is about them and everything is about your family and whatever. I think you need to reset a little bit. You need more time. So I try like to do it daily. It's a battle, it's a challenge, but it's something
mm,
that's important because we always hear you can't um, pour from an empty cup. And that is so true. What are you gonna pour into your children's lives if you've got nothing? There's nothing in
mm,
your tank.
mm,
So that is really something important that I want to teach them. It's okay to feel tired and it's okay to feel down. Like we have to learn to also feel the feelings. Like not try as soon as you feel a negative feeling or you feel down and whatever, oh, you need to like banish it. You don't
mm,
deal with it and whatever. So it's important for me to teach my kids good values and principles and how to carry themselves. When it
mm,
comes to men, how to stand up against them, because I don't think our like most of our parents like really tells us like how to handle. I don't think most of us just think we
mm,
just have to, you know, we just have to go with whatever it is. Even
mm,
like in our jobs, we just have to go with whatever is said.
mm,
We can't use our voices. Yeah, so those
mm,
are the things that's important to me. They need to know how to use their voice in every situation, you know,
mm,
to say no. No is no
mm,
is no. Be comfortable with no. Like I think sometimes we feel like we're not comfortable saying no to
no,
anyone. Yeah. It's
mm,
something that's uncomfortable to us. We always have to say yes and give in, and no makes you a bad person if you say no. So that's what I teach
mm,
them. You can say no. It's okay. You don't have to if you don't want to.
mm.
So yeah,
It
those
goes
are the
back
important things
to
for me.
Mm, it goes back to societal pressures and
Mm,
expectations on women. And I
mm,
think a lot of women grew up being told that they need to be strong because
mm.
of the world that we live in. So no one can take
Yeah.
advantage of you. But as you said, it is tiring. Um,
Mm,
physically tiring, emotionally tiring, in like holistically, in every way, it's tiring. And it eventually shows, it
mm,
displays itself
mm,
where it's like, oh my gosh, so and so is just, always upset. Or, it's like a ticking time bomb.
mm,
So it shows up in
mm,
various ways. So it is important to know how to activate your soft side, and when it's a safe space to
mm,
be in that I don't want to say era, but to show your soft side, to be vulnerable.
mm,
And I think it's also very important
mm.
for us
Yeah.
to teach not only the girl child but also the boy child. Yes. So not only the girl child, we also need to
Yes.
teach the boy child, to identify a safe space, so they know who
Yeah.
to be vulnerable around. They know when to show that side, because that's very important.
Mm,
You can't just
I like
be
that.
soft everywhere with
Mm,
everyone. So
mhm.
it's very important. I think it's more important for us to teach that in terms of when to be soft,
Mm,
when, as you said, when you need to stand up for yourself. Um, we need to teach, and we need to teach ourselves that, because
yeah.
it's not always necessary for us to have our guard up. And I know I'm also
Yeah.
speaking about myself, to have
Yeah.
your guard up all the time. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you are in a safe space where you can just relax. It's not all
Mm,
about, defense. So there's something
I
that
love it.
we really need to reprogram
Mm.
um, ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was it was lovely having you on the
Mhm.
platform. This was a lovely
Yeah.
conversation. I
Yeah.
wish it can go on and on.
I
um,
know.
but yes, thank you for sharing your motherhood journey and reminding us to do a lot of introspection and reprogramming, not only to be better parents for our kids, but also for
Mm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And that we need to be intentional about fulfilling our purpose and aligning ourselves um, with, with the path we're supposed to be on, our
Mm.
life path. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that, and for
Pleasure. Thank
sharing.
you for having me.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks.
It really was a pleasure.
Yeah, listening to me yapping
It
too.
was very
Yeah.
refreshing. Yes, yes, it really was. Okay,
Mm.
thank you,
Thanks so much.
Elise,
Thank you, Rana.
for sharing your motherhood journey, and thank you to the listeners for listening to this episode of Intent. Until next time, let's keep living with intent. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hi guys, welcome to Intent. I'm your host Ronlyn, and we're going to continue our motherhood journey season. Today we have Elise. Elise is going to be taking us through her motherhood journey. Hi Elise,
Hi. Hi to your
how are
listeners.
you?
I'm well, and you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we're gonna jump into it. For an icebreaker, I'd like you to describe motherhood in one word.
Um, I'd say motherhood for me is kind of like a paradox. It's like really hard and
Mm,
all consuming, but it's also really fulfilling, like the one thing that really, really fulfills me. So
mm,
yeah, that's what I would or how I would describe it.
mm, mm. Yeah, it's challenging, but also fulfilling.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
guess that's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you can just take us through your background regarding motherhood, just your journey, how you entered motherhood, until this point.
Okay, so I had my kids when I was quite later in my life. Um, when I was much older, like I had my first, I think I first fell pregnant at 38 or 39. And I
Mm,
also had my babies like, one after the like 11 months apart. So it's something that, happened quite suddenly. And like I said, it was like two babies, like, 11 months apart. So it was a
mm,
challenge. Um, I had to learn a lot in a short space of time, especially when you have two kids or two babies at the same time. It's like basically
mm,
having twins. And yes, it was something I had to adapt very quickly. I had to get my ducks in order very quickly. Um,
mm,
but yeah, it changed my life for the better. And yes, like I said, it was really a challenge, but I also learned a lot about myself and, my
mm,
inner strength and what I'm capable of. Um, so yeah, more or less, I have two daughters. They just turned 8 and 9. And yeah, the journey and
So, in terms of you becoming a mom, what was the reason for you having kids in your late 30s? I know there's a reason, a different reason for everyone. But for you specifically,
It's just the way my life unfolded. I didn't find someone, I haven't, like, obviously, like when I was younger, um, there wasn't anyone that I obviously set up house with or like I wanted to start a life with and a family with. So I found my husband like quite late and got married late. And so for me, it was never, oh, I have to have kids at a certain age or maybe much earlier in my life. You know, most of us grow up like that with that notion, you know, you get to a certain age and you have to settle down and you have to have kids. Obviously, first get
mm,
married and whatever, you know, the way everything is set out for you. But like with
mm,
me, I think towards my late 20s and early 30s and whatever, I was really just enjoying my life and, you know, being single, going through life and learning and all that. And there wasn't really time for kids, I think. Um,
mm,
that's not where my headspace where my headspace was. That's not where I was. So it never happened for me um, until I was obviously much older. And I feel
mm,
that was also the right time for me. I'm happy, you know, that I had my kids that late.
mm, mm. I'm asking because I know, sorry, I'm asking because I know there's a lot of pressure on women, as you said,
Mm,
to have kids by a certain age. Even medically, they'll tell you, when you
mm,
reach a certain age, I think it's around 34, 35, you become high
yeah,
risk. The
yeah.
clock is ticking. There's all this
Mm,
pressure, and
mm,
it's just so refreshing to hear your story regarding the
yes,
reason why you had kids later, where you chose
yeah,
yourself and you didn't fall for those societal pressures.
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
because there's a lot of younger women that do feel pressured. Um,
yes,
so it's
and
just refreshing. It's refreshing to
yes,
hear that there's somebody that made that conscious choice to say
yeah,
that, what, probably I am not ready. As you said, you didn't meet your husband, then you didn't find a suitable partner to settle down with
yes,
and start a family, and you chose to wait until you were ready. Um,
yes,
which I think, yes,
yes, because it wasn't even a conversation I had with and you understand what I'm saying, with whatever relationship I was in, there was never conversation, oh, let's have kids. You understand what I'm
mm,
saying? It wasn't even in my mind. Um, and probably because I wasn't married and we were obviously taught like once you're married and then you talk about kids. So
mm,
I've never had a discussion with obviously a partner about getting married and all that stuff. So that's why
mm,
I never saw the need for having kids. And I had easy pregnancies. I mean, at 38, 39, there was no complications. There was none of that. So you'll obviously just go in your checkups and whatever, and they'll explain to you, obviously the dangers and all that. But it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And I mean,
mm,
we see it now all the time. It seems like more women do have kids later in their life. It's becoming more common. And then yeah,
mm,
so I had easy pregnancies. With my second child, I only started going to the gynecologist, I think at 6 months or so. So because I
oh,
was with my even my previous pregnancy, I was healthy.
mm,
So there was none of that. So yeah, it's not impossible. It's not like a big thing that young ladies have to fear that, oh, you can't have kids later,
mm,
you know? Enjoy your life first. Enjoy yourself. Travel if you can. Um,
mm,
enjoy your money. Because once the kids are there, it's over. You have to dedicate your life
mm,
to them now because now you've made the decision now to have kids, right? So you need to step up to that. You can't now decide, oh, I still want to have fun and I still want to travel. No, you had to do that before you had kids. And I'm not saying your life is over when you have kids, but especially while they're much younger, you have to dedicate your life, everything. They come first, especially
Mm,
obviously their younger years when they need you around. You have to be there
mm,
as much as you can. So you have to kind of put your life on hold. If you decide to have a child, you have to make that decision. Yes, I'm going to put my life on hold, and then
mm,
I will resume when the child doesn't need me that much, or you know.
mm,
So that's why I say enjoy your life as much as you can while you're young, because so many people also start, women or even men, like resent the child at the end of the day because they feel a resentment towards the child because they feel like they're taking away their life or they're taking away their youth or whatever. But I mean, that's the
mm,
decision that was made. And I'm not talking in instances where you didn't have a choice, you know, in having a child and whatever. But if you've made the decision, you have to
mm,
dedicate your life to their child for as long as the
mm,
child needs you. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, that is true. You have to follow through with your decision.
Hmm. Yes.
So you spoke about the fact that, you didn't have very challenging pregnancies. They were quite easy for you, both of them,
Hmm.
even though you had kids, a bit later in life,
Hmm.
considering, what most women, the age most women have kids.
Hmm.
And obviously you have to take into consideration genetics, lifestyle, all of that stuff
Yes.
in terms of,
Yeah.
your health and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But pregnancy is very unpredictable. I know for me it
Yeah.
definitely was.
Mm.
So in terms of what was it surprising for you that you had an easy pregnancy, or did you expect to have some challenges?
Yes, I did. I can't lie because that's what you hear all the time. That's you hear,
Mm,
you know. So it was surprising that it was that easy for me. I thought I was going to have such a hard time. I think towards the end of the last trimester, obviously, then you get like really now tired and you just want to sleep in, like which is normal at like I think at most ages. But I was still
mm,
exercising, obviously still working and whatever. But I was definitely surprised because I expected, like when I went in for, you know, when they do the scans and they look now for the markers for Down syndrome and this and that and
mm,
whatever, I was like
mm,
really, really nervous. I was very nervous. But yes, definitely surprised. I was.
mm. And is there anything else that was like unexpected in your journey? Doesn't have to be
Um,
surprising. Mm,
No, not really. Obviously, going in like into a pregnancy, if you've never been, it's a first time journey.
mm,
So I didn't go in like really expecting anything. I think once I was in it, when I now started Googling and all that stuff, I think that's when the problems started because now, when you're Googling, now you see this and that, and you're on the
mm,
forums and all that stuff. That's when the anxiety and all that start. But like going into the pregnancy, I was like quite excited and obviously questioning myself, am I going to be a good mother? Like, you
mm,
know, like all the usual fear of the unknown. Like, and I mean, being pregnant and getting ready to have a baby, a child, bring a child into the world, there's obviously a lot of anxieties and fears and uncertainties connected to that. So just the
mm,
normal things and whatever, nothing. I wish I didn't Google as much. I think I would have had a more peaceful pregnancy if I stayed away from Google. and
Mm,
just researching things. And it's okay to go into it, obviously, for knowledge and, just like, but sometimes I think I got carried away a little. I think we do.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely do. We end up Googling everything under the sun, every
Oh,
sign and
mhm.
have. And then next thing we know, we're like, oh my gosh, I have this illness. And
Yes. And I
so,
haven't
so
I haven't felt the baby moved and whatever. I
yes.
think I ended up in the emergency room like 3 times because I was now so paranoid. I haven't
Mm,
felt the baby like move and whatever. Then we have to now go to the hospital. And then they're like, no, the baby's okay because now they obviously now put I think, what was it? The Doppler, whatever, the thing they put around
yes.
just your stomach to see if there's still a heartbeat and whatever, because I was now completely convinced myself that there's something wrong. I think we ended up there 3 times. And every time they were like, no, mommy, there's nothing wrong with the baby. The baby's just sleeping. The baby. So yeah, like, those things.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, we can definitely cause ourselves to have unnecessary anxiety.
Yes.
Um, yeah, from Google,
Mm,
definitely. So we should go to the doctor if we feel like,
mm,
we're unsure about the feedback, seek a second opinion. I
yeah.
think that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, you spoke about, so there was nothing unexpected from your pregnancies or even after that. But what was surprising for you was the fact that you had an easy
Yes.
pregnancy, easy
Mm.
pregnancy. Um, is there is there any lessons that your kids have taught you? It can be from the time they were born or even up until now. Any lessons that have stuck with you and have changed you in some way, whether it's through your parenting or through personally or your interactions with people or career wise.
Um, so lessons that like I've learned through parenthood, did you say, or my kids?
Your kids or parenthood.
Um, my kids, like they teach you it's ongoing. They teach you ongoing lessons, like every now and then. But the things that really stands out for me is just like really how easily they forgive. Um,
Mm,
how easily they just carry on with how resilient they are. And if something happens, it's not like a big thing, you know? They just carry on if you're still there. And like I say, every day they teach me something about myself. They teach me patience and um, just like in a way, sometimes I feel like almost like a mirror. They like all the time they like reflect things back to me, like
mm,
things that I need to see about myself. Um,
mm,
and yeah, but like I say, it's an ongoing thing. I just learn from them almost every day. Yeah.
mm, mm. Kids definitely forgive quite quickly. I think it's also because they are, like when a baby is born, that's the
Mm,
purest a human is when they are born.
mm,
So as you grow and then, you start consuming a lot from this world and then, it, it, it becomes diluted a little bit. So
mm.
I think for kids, they still in that, they very pure. They very, is pure the
Yes.
correct to use? They very, they're not so consumed
They
by the negativity of this world.
they untainted
So
still.
yes, they very untainted. So their hearts are just so pure. It's just like, okay,
Mm.
this happened, let's move on. It's not that serious.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think in terms of forgiveness and just bouncing back, we have a lot to learn from kids. And we also
Yeah.
need to remember that we were once kids. And that is still in us.
Yes.
We just need to get back to
Mm.
that state and
Inner
not be so
child.
confused. Yes,
Mm.
your inner child. You need to let your inner child live, and also let that part of
Mm.
your inner child live constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because forgiveness is very important in this
Mm.
life.
Ev-
It's really important.
Yeah, even their honesty, it's like they when they ask you something, it's like they honestly ask you with a pure heart. Even, sometimes it's like it feels like are you it feels like an insult, obviously, sometimes, when they call out maybe something about your appearance or maybe something you said and whatever, but they really do it just with a pure heart. Like they just so honest, or sometimes they'll give you honest feedback on something. Um,
Mm,
but they do it with a pure heart. You can't fault them. You can't even get upset with them because
mm,
it comes from a place or like a pure place,
mm,
they're not saying it to hurt you and whatever. And like sometimes I wish I still had that, that untainted heart where, it's like you can give someone, you can just be honest, even if it's just with yourself, because sometimes we even struggle these days being honest with ourselves. And that's something that they're teaching me. Like I can be honest with myself. I can sit down with myself and just be bare, right? And then and accept myself and accept my flaws, because they also they accept me just the way I am. They don't see any
mm,
fault in their mom. And most kids are like that. They don't see any fault in us. We are the ones that
mm,
fault ourselves and nitpick and, oh, I'm not good enough and I don't do this well enough. I should have done this. You know, they don't see, they just see a perfect mom. They just see my mom and my
mm,
dad. They perfect. There's nothing wrong. If I have to go to them and tell them all the things that's wrong with me or that I feel is wrong with me, they would be probably so shocked. They'll be like, what is this woman talking about? And like
mm,
such kind souls, they always like reassure me, of like, mommy, you're the best mommy. And I had to also
mm,
learn to accept that. When they tell me, mommy, you're the best mom in the whole wide world and whatever, I have to accept that. It's coming from my
mm,
kids and they mean that and whatever. And sometimes it's like difficult for me because I'm busy at judging myself and finding fault in myself, that I find it hard to believe. And that's one of the things they taught me, that I need to accept myself because they think I'm perfect. While they think I'm perfect, I'm the perfect mom, you know?
mm.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up because I think we need to start seeing ourselves in our kids, especially
Yes.
when days are very hard, weeks are hard,
Mm,
and finding our lives very, very challenging. We just need to think about the fact that, we
mm,
have this little one or these kids that look up to us and they see
mm.
this perfect person,
Yeah.
and it's not like, as you said, they're being honest, they're not lying about all the good
Mm.
qualities that you
Yeah.
have. You just need to see it in yourself. So we are so consumed by, the negativity of this world that we don't
Mm.
even see ourselves for exactly who we are.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful that you brought that up. It's a
Mm.
reminder of who we display ourselves to be in front of our kids because they see
Mm.
the real us.
Yes.
They see happy mom, angry mom, like they see the real us on all levels.
Yes.
Um, so their feedback is the most accurate.
Exactly.
So
I'll take
yeah,
it. I'll definitely take that. Yeah.
yes. So we really need to I think
Mm,
every day before we sleep, just just try and make it a habit to see ourselves
mm,
through the lens.
yeah.
I think that would make all the difference. Um, I also love the fact that um, you brought that up, and also I know that you're also on a personal journey.
Mm,
And you mentioned that your kids have helped you see yourself in a more, can say, more positive way.
mm.
How has that helped you personally in terms of the decisions you now make?
I think like I don't take things that seriously anymore. I think also like when my motherhood journey started, I was
Mm,
still in the pursuit of perfection, you know? Like we always have this idea of, oh, I have to be the perfect wife, I have to be the perfect mom, I have to be the perfect sister, I have to the we always put those pressures on ourselves. And
mm,
I think just taking every day as it comes, especially being a stay-at-home mom. Like, I don't want to fall in the same trap of continuing being on the rat race. And I mean, that's why I left corporate, was to look after my family and, run a household and to be present and intentional for my kids. But it's very difficult to be intentional and present when you're always in a pursuit of something, whether it's
mm,
perfection or whatever it is. You forget about what your purpose is, because your purpose is not to look for perfection. There is,
mm,
but because there's nothing like perfection. God is the only perfect one. We can't be
mm,
perfect. So why are we still? And that's what I ask myself. God is the only perfect one. Why am I still
mm,
chasing it? Why am I chasing it? Because that affects my family, that affects my kids, because everything must always be perfect. Their rooms must be perfect. Their hair must be perfect. This must be perfect. You understand what
mm,
I'm saying? I must be perfect in whatever. And that was really something I had to stop doing and work on important things like patience and just bring myself back to earth and be aware of what's around me, which is most of the
mm,
time my kids, and what's their needs, because they like the most important thing for them is your presence. And if your presence is always negative and they always get negative vibes and mom is always upset and all that stuff, and I'm not saying I'm there yet, I'm still working on it, obviously, but
mm,
if you just get lost in that, then you're missing the mark, because now
mm,
you're not present. The one thing that they need, you're not giving to them. And like
mm,
I had to like really force myself, because I come out of a different household where, in like most of my peers and my friends growing up and everything, we didn't have our parents present all the time. They were working, and when they come back from work, they didn't sit and do homework with us and stuff like that. We were on our own. And they come back from work, they're tired and all that. And I had to like really force myself not to be like that. I had to um, tell myself, that's not the type of parent I want to be. And I'm not saying my parents were, you know, the worst and they were bad. They did the best they could. But I knew that I wanted to be a different type of parent. So since I had that idea in my head of the different parent I had to be, I had to obviously step up, and I still have to. Every day I have to work on it, because it's not difficult if it's not second nature to me.